In the previous episode, we examined a limitation that most people never notice. Fire alarms do work. They warn us when danger becomes visible, but they don't tell us how that danger developed. And that realization leads to a different question. Not how to detect a fire faster, but why we don't remember it at all. In almost every other critical system we rely on today, failures are recorded. Aircraft have black boxes, industrial machines log performance data. Even computer servers record every anomaly. But inside the building we live every single day, fire leaves behind almost no measurable history. That absence is where the idea of FireStar began. Section 1. Rethinking the problem. Most innovation in fire safety focuses on improving detection. More sensitive sensors, faster alarms, smarter triggers, but all of those improvements still treat fire as a single moment. The moment an alarm sounds. They do not treat fire as something that evolves over time, and yet every fire is sequenced, conditions change, materials respond, heat builds, air chemistry shifts. By the time an alarm reacts, that sequence is already partially lost. So the real question became, what if we designed systems to observe change, instead of waiting for thresholds? Section 2. Learning from other fields. In many other fields, safety is not achieved simply by reacting to accidents. It is achieved by studying them, in detail with data. Take aviation as an example. When an aircraft incident occurs, the investigation does not rely on memory or visible damage alone. Engineers analyze recorded flight parameters second by second. Altitude changes, temperature variations, system warnings, control inputs, engine performance, environmental conditions. This information comes from what we commonly call the black box. But despite this name, it is not a mysterious object. It is simply a continuous recording system designed to ensure that no critical moment is ever lost. A black box does not prevent the first accident. Its volume lies in making sure the same unknown ever happens twice. Because once events can be reconstructed precisely, engineers can identify weaknesses, redesign systems, adjust producers, and improve training. That cycle, record, analyze, improve, is what has made modern aviation one of the safest forms of transportation. Now compare that to most residential or small-scale fire events. When a fire occurs, we see the aftermath, we document the damage, we try to determine a cause, but we almost never have a continuous record of the environment leading up to ignition. We don't know how long heat had been accumulating. We don't know whether conditions changed suddenly or gradually. We don't know which signals approved first and which are not followed. In many cases, the earliest and most informative part of the event exists only as inferences. And the inferences, no matter how experienced the investigator is, not the same as measurement. Section 3. The conceptual shift. If other fields rely on recorded timelines, why doesn't fire safety? Why do we accept that the earliest conditions, the slow build-up, the subtle warning signals, are simply lost? That realization changed the way I framed the problem. Instead of asking, how can we build a faster fire alarm? I began asking, What if we stopped thinking of fire as something to detect and started thinking of it as something to record? A recorder does not wait for danger. It observes continuously. It watches patterns that seem normal until, in hindsight, they weren't. Temperature drifting upward over hours, air composition changing slightly, heat accumulating in confined spaces, signals too small to trigger an alarm, but meaningful when seen together. The goal would not be to replace alarms. It would be to preserve what alarms cannot see, the timeline. Section 4. The constraint problem. Once the idea became clear, a more practical question emerged. FireStar could not be designed as a laboratory recorder if it were going to exist in real buildings. It had to live under the same constraints as every other fire safety devices. It had to be small enough to install like a normal alarm. It had to operate continuously without attention. It had to remain reliable for years, not days. And it still had to perform the fundamental role people expect, to warn occupants when danger becomes immediate. In other words, FireStar could not replace existing safety systems. It had to stand beside them, sharing the same physical space, the same expectations, and the same responsibility for safety. But it also needed to do something those systems were never designed to do: preserve what happened before the emergency. This meant the design challenge was not simply adding sensors, it was balancing two roles that rarely coexist. Enough safety devices that must react instantly, and a recording system that must observe patiently. Section 5. Surviving the environment it records. Another issue quickly followed. If FireStar is meant to document a fire, it must continue functioning during the very conditions that destroy everything else. Typical electronic devices are not built to endure extreme heat. Memory fails, circuits degrade, materials deform long before investigators ever arrive. So the question was not just how to detect changes, but how to ensure the information itself survives the event. A fire recorder that cannot survive fire would defeat its own purpose. Designing for durability, thermal resistance, and long-term data integrity became just as important as sensing the environment in the first place. FireStar had to present before, during, and after the incident, not as a fragile observer, but as a resilient witness. Section 6. From idea to implementation. At this point, the question was no longer why FireStar should exist. The question became much more practical. How do you actually build something like this? How do you combine sensing, recording, and warning functions into a device small enough to install in a real space? How do you monitor environmental changes continuously without making the system complicated or unreliable? And how do you design it so that it behaves like a normal safety device, something people can trust, install, and forget, while still capturing information that would otherwise disappear? Answering those questions required moving beyond the concepts and beginning real system design, and that is why FireStar truly became an engineering project. In this episode, we explored how the idea behind FireStar took shape, not as a replacement for fire alarms, but as a device designed to preserve what traditional systems cannot. Once that role became clear, the next step was to determine how such a system could actually function. How does its sense change? How are those signals persist? And how can all of this operate reliably inside a compact device? In the next episode, we'll begin looking inside fire alarm itself, starting with how it observes the environment and how its sensing system is structured. Thank you for watching episode 3 of FireStar Inset. I'll see you in episode 4.